First Alert Weather, where accuracy matters, from keeping you alert during severe weather to helping you prepared throughout the day. We're so confident in our accuracy, we're willing to bet on it. Introducing the 3-degree guarantee. Each weekday that our forecast high is within 3 degrees of the actual high, a local charity gets money in their bank. No other Augusta station is on your side the way we are, keeping you ready for anything and putting our accuracy to work.
The First Alert Weather 3-degree guarantee, sponsored by Tub Doctor.
I'm attorney Chris Hudson. When you visit or work with Parker's Kitchen, your support makes a difference. You've helped us rank as best workplace in America. None of this happens without you.
Thank you. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12, live at 5.
Keeping your kids safe, equipment one teacher calls life-saving, could soon be installed in every school in South Carolina. Good evening, I'm Meredith Anderson. One big obstacle, though, could be standing in the way of all of this becoming a reality. Your South Carolina State House reporter, Mary Green, explains.
A bill advancing in the House of Representatives would require every school in South Carolina install a mobile panic alert system. It's a safety feature some districts already have in place, but many do not.
This is my ID that I'm always wearing around my neck. This is the mobile panic alert system. And this button right here, if I'm on campus, click it 3 times. That's going to notify administration that I have a classroom-based emergency. Click it 8 times or more, that initiates the campus-wide lockdown.
Every teacher in every school in Richland School District 2 has one of these devices as part of its mobile panic alert system. A bill moving in the State House would require every school in the state have a system like this in place, which would alert local first responders when activated in emergencies, and could even put a school into lockdown. The policy has the backing of groups representing South Carolina's teachers, school administrators, and school boards, but with one big concern. There is no funding attached to the bill to help districts cover the mandated costs. According to a fiscal impact report, districts claim the equipment could cost them between $90,000 and $10 million to install, plus thousands of dollars in annual maintenance fees per school.
In the event of a true emergency in the building, seconds can literally save lives. These systems definitely provide us with valuable seconds.
Lawmakers say they plan to speak with their colleagues who are in charge of writing the state budget about funding for this initiative. If this bill does become law, schools would be required to have this equipment in place by July of next year. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
Thank you, Mary. According to the South Carolina Association of School Administrators, around a dozen districts already have this technology, including Aiken County. Now, they would not have to change it if this requirement is enacted. Our Georgia school districts, Richmond and McDuffie, those two have the systems as well. All right, taking a live look outside our station at Riverwatch Parkway and I-20. As we check in with your First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Riley Hale. Riley, after rain today, you're also keeping an eye on radar right now, and tonight we still have some of those stray showers out there.
Yeah, we do have a couple of these lingering showers out there, Meredith. I would say if you are heading out over the next couple of hours, wouldn't be too surprised if you see a couple raindrops out there. This is actually a high-resolution view from our Harlem radar site, so giving us that lowest scan across the area, showing some very light rain in South Augusta, crossing over the river towards Beach Island, all the way down Jefferson Davis Highway towards downtown Aiken. So there's a little bit of rain out there. It's not necessarily super heavy, but just enough of a nuisance for this afternoon commute across the area. We widen this out. You can see it's not necessarily a ton of rain for a lot of us. A lot of us are fairly dry at the moment, but the last little bit of this front is pushing through the region, and as long as this front is still off towards our east, we're still going to have that opportunity maybe for a quick shower. But high pressure is going to be moving in the next couple of days, bringing us a lot of sunshine for the rest of the week, at least up until this weekend. Now for this evening, once again, not ruling out maybe a few spotty showers out there up until at least around 8-9 p.m. Once we get much later into tonight, we're expecting clearing skies and generally going to see a lot of sun over the next several days. The thing is, behind this front, our air is going to be drying out. It's going to be very dry and still going to be a little bit breezy for your Tuesday and Wednesday. So with that continuing, that means we're going to bring back a fire risk across the region. Despite seeing a little bit of rain today, any fire that starts over the for your Tuesday and Wednesday just has that danger of picking up very quickly. So looking at our wind map again, not expecting the wind Tuesday to really pick up until we get much later into the afternoon. I would say after 2-3 p.m. we start to see this. This is going to be a second front that pushes through tomorrow and brings us even gustier conditions heading in towards our Wednesday. We'll have more of that coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Riley. Taking you out now live to the scene of an Aiken County bus crash. Now, officials say this happened on Drag Strip Road. Again, you looking live at that scene now. Crews are still on the scene there, as you can see. Drag Strip Road is shut down, so we're actually showing you the look from Atomic Road. We are on your side as we work to learn if there are any injuries, what caused the crash. Of course, we will keep you updated, but again, you are looking, well, the road is blocked off, so a very limited view, but again, we've got a crew on the scene asking questions for you, and we'll pass along any answers when we can. Plans underway for an affordable senior living apartment complex in the Sandhills neighborhood. The site, the historic Weed School on Mount Auburn Street. Housing and Community Development purchased the decommissioned elementary school for Black children earlier this year. HCD wants commissioners to approve a $960,000 loan through the American Rescue Plan to build the 48-unit complex tomorrow. Now, the development is being named EW Estates in honor of the Reverend Edwin G. Weed. He was the first rector of the Church of the Good Shepherd and planted the seed which sprang the school which bears his name. The same developers of Watson Point and Lenox are named on the project. Hurricane Helene survivors in Aiken County, listen up. From now until Thursday, you can receive assistance with recovery. Disaster case managers are staged at Hayden Baptist Church for any long-term needs you might have. This resource is available to survivors, regardless if you applied for FEMA or disaster assistance or not. You can get help tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 7 o'clock, and then from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday. The location, as I mentioned, Hayden Baptist Church. That's on Gregg Avenue. A major automaker based in Georgia is under fire yet again after another employee death. Hyundai confirms the death of 45-year-old Sunbach Yu at its Bryan County mega site Friday afternoon. Now, this comes amid an already open investigation by OSHA after another worker was seriously injured earlier this month at that same mega site. Hyundai says the latest incident happened at the Battery Joint property. The automaker released a statement after the worker's death, saying, quoting here, the initial indication is that a forklift struck a worker, resulting in fatal injuries to the male victim. Now, that incident is under investigation. Between April 2023 and July 2024, Bryan County EMS reports show at least 53 injuries that required emergency services on that site. EMS also has proof of a death at the mega site in 2023 when a worker fell 60 feet and died. OSHA has opened at least 13 investigations into incidents on that site since construction first started in October of 2022. Several of them resulted in fines to various subcontractors. Nearly 6,000 acres of land scorched tonight as the western North Carolina wildfires continue to burn. The Black Cove and Deep Woods fires are the most pressing blazes in Polk County. The North Carolina Forest Service says they are both holding at 0% contained. The other fire, that one's called Fishhook, is 50% contained. The Forest Service says they are up against some challenges as they work to smother these flames.
Wildland firefighter looks a little bit different than your structural firefighters going into burning buildings. We have to hike up mountains, and so we try to keep our gear as light as possible. That gear's not light. We're carrying chainsaws, backpack, leaf blowers, and our fire packs and fire tools. They're struggling to get up these mountains sometimes.
Challenges we never see here, or even the fires in Horry County saw. Families near the Black Cove fire and Deep Woods fire are evacuating. So far, no injuries have been reported in either of these fires. In South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster has issued a state of emergency as crews are still battling a fire at Table Rock State Park. Officials say 4 teenage hikers caused that fire last Friday. Officials are asking folks to avoid the area as they work to contain the flames. Emergency management says a search crew on the mountain is looking for a missing camper, Stephanie Womack. They actually were the ones who spotted this fire Friday. The crew even had a UTV and some hikers who were cut off by the fire. Now, it forced Womack's family to cancel their planned search that was scheduled Saturday. Right now, no injuries have been reported and no buildings are damaged. All trails are closed until further notice at Table Rock State Park. Patrons are the only ones gearing up for Golf Week. The SPCA Albrecht Center is hosting its third annual Playing for the Paws golf tournament. This is the first year the animal shelter is hosting two separate tournaments, an 18-hole and a 9-hole tournament. The shelter says it's to expand the amount of people who can participate and, of course, raise more money. That's the goal here. The events and fundraising manager says this event couldn't have more during a more critical time.
Is huge. For example, just in the beginning of March, our intake numbers dramatically increased, especially compared to previous years. This year is setting up to be a big year for our shelter as far as the amount of animals that we're taking in and the capacity that we can hold right now.
They say all proceeds go back to the operations of that shelter. And good luck. We know they need all the money they can get. A popular spring break tradition is returning to Tybee Island as an official event. We'll tell you the challenges that has led up to this, though, coming up. Riley, not the best start to the work week.
Yeah, we got some rain out there for Monday, but bringing a lot of sunshine over the next couple of days. But with that dry air, also brings back the fire threat. We'll have more on that forecast for you just after break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
The weather, it's something that affects us all every day. From sunny to severe and anything in between. This is why we First Alert.
Our space was...
Now, your First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale.
Welcome back, folks. Here's a live look from our Beach Island camera, and this tells the story. We are tracking a little bit of rain across the Augusta and Aiken metros, so just some light showers. You can see that rain shaft coming down from that dark cloud cover there across the area, so we're not completely done with the rain just yet. Our temperatures are right now in the mid-60s. We got a little bit of wind out of the southwest, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour, and when we switch over to radar, it doesn't look super impressive, but just a little bit of light rain now here between the Savannah River and towards downtown Aiken, staying mainly south of Highway 1 right there, but continue to impact those areas around Aiken and central Aiken County for the next hour or so. A wider look at our radar network shows that the main front is still back here. You can see a little tiny downpour just popping up near Washington and central Wilkes County. So as long as this front is east of us, it's going to continue pushing through and continue to provide that opportunity for maybe a few pop-up downpours across the area. So evening planner, not completely dry. I would say keep the umbrella close if you're going to be stepping out, at least through around 10 p.m. tonight. Once we get into the overnight hours, expecting clearing skies and going to stay mostly dry for the rest of the week. Here's a look at your planner temperature-wise for the rest of today. So temps mid-60s, maybe a little bit warmer in a few spots if you're not seeing that quick little shower at the moment. But temps will be relatively mild this evening, and then overnight tonight will eventually drop down into the mid-40s. So a cool start to our Tuesday, but afternoon highs should actually get close to 80 degrees. Expecting a lot of sunshine out there tomorrow. But the thing is, since we're going to be so warm tomorrow afternoon, the air is going to be very dry. It's going to be lead to very low relative humidity. You couple that with some breezy conditions, and now we're talking about a fire threat again across the area. So for your Tuesday, gusts possibly up to 20 late into the day. It's really going to be the afternoon we have to worry about that relative humidity getting very low. So ideally, don't burn again tomorrow and don't burn Wednesday, as we are going to continue pretty much a carbon copy again on Wednesday from Tuesday. So a lot of sunshine over the next couple of days, but those gusts 20, 25 miles an hour, and the air is just going to be super dry. So fires are going to be able to start and spread very quickly. So ideally, don't burn anything for the next couple of days. Pollen forecast continues to be an issue for us. We have some relief today since we did see a little bit of wet weather, but the thing is, now we're starting to see some grass start to grow across across the region. So now grass pollen is going up. Our tree pollen is going to be very high as we move forward into the week, but seeing a little relief here today and tomorrow with just that little bit of wet weather. Here's looking at our wind gust forecast. So those will be 20-25 for your Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. That's why we are continuing that low fire risk. But overall, beautiful weather over the next several days. We're expecting a lot of sunshine. High temps will be topping out into the 70s through Thursday, and then we're just getting a little bit warmer heading into the weekend. Now, the weekend forecast, mostly dry right now, but we are tracking that next chance for rain past today to show up on Sunday.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Orange Crush, it is coming back to Tybee Island, this time with a permit in hand. It is a spring break bash that brings thousands of people to the island every year. The controversial event will go on after city leaders announced Friday they granted organizers a permit for 1 day. Anna Stansfield explains how we got here and what people can expect this year.
Back in 2023, Orange Crush leaving Tybee Island gridlocked.
I mean, traffic was horrible. You couldn't come on, you couldn't get off.
To keep traffic moving in 2024, the city placing barricades across the island.
Traffic was much better. The street were not blocked. People didn't park where they shouldn't.
Now in 2025, organizers and city officials coming together to bring a permit to the event, keeping many of 2024's protocols in place.
It's every day we're on the phone together collaboratively as a team.
George Turner is the founder of Orange Crush, originally bringing a plan to Tybee leaders for a weekend-long event. Through months of negotiations, the event was brought down to just 1 day, the Saturday of Easter weekend.
The purpose of the permit was to define the hours and day of the event, because we want this crowd cleared out so that we can have Easter Sunday.
This permit forcing organizers to pay for 20 additional law enforcement officers, 10 private security officers, a sanitation team, and making them take out a $1 million certificate of insurance. All things they're already in the process of doing.
We want to make sure everybody first is on the island safe, that they conducted themselves in a manageable a position. They're not creating any avenue that they shouldn't be creating.
While the permit is only for 1 day, Tybee's police chief says they're preparing for crowds all weekend with outside agencies coming in to help.
And they will start arriving on Thursday, and they will not leave until we clear them to leave on Sunday.
Overall, with a new partnership, locals hopeful for the event's future.
I think it'll be a whole lot better. I'm looking forward to it.
As city leaders start to prepare for Orange Crush, they say locals will likely see traffic barricades going up a few days before the event. Continuing to follow that breaking news out of Aiken County, a bus crash has shut down Drag Strip Road. This is a look from Atomic Road nearby. Beach Island Fire says they are only letting people who live nearby go beyond that blocked area. Fire crews say the school has contacted the parents of students who were on the bus. We are still working to learn if anyone was hurt.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
During the room
Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Welcome back, everyone. Taking another look at your 7-day forecast. We do have a lot of sun in the forecast for the rest of the work week once we get past today. Still some lingering showers out there, so have an umbrella close by if you're stepping out this evening. Stick with us. We're going to have much more coming up live at 5 just after the break.
Introducing the First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First, just got faster.
Some moments are too perfect for words. A love so true. A night so magical. At Windsor Jewelers, we help you find the ring that tells your love story. A ring as timeless as your forever. Because when the moment is right, only the perfect ring will do. Windsor Jewelers, where forever begins.
The dentist.
Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your First Alert.
Parker's Kitchen is my new daily coffee stop.
Gourmet beans are freshly ground for every cup. Get your own cup of great tasting, freshly brewed coffee at Parker's Kitchen.
You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
tragic situation ending in a 2-year-old's death in Augusta. Live at 5, I'm Meredith Anderson.
And I'm Will Rio. This happened Friday night at around 8:30 on Peters Road, which is at a housing complex off Laney Walker Boulevard and Gordon Highway. Authorities say a driver went up onto the sidewalk in that neighborhood, hitting 2-year-old Aura Moody. She later died at the hospital.
Your Audrey Dickerber joins us live at 5 from the newsroom. Audrey, there is still a lot of unknowns about this tragedy and what led up to it.
It's still under investigation, but here's what police tell us they know so far. What started with 2-year-old Aura Moody playing on the sidewalk ended with her life being taken. Authorities say it happened on Peters Road, and that deputies responded to the scene for an unknown situation. After they got there, they found out Aura Moody was playing on the sidewalk with her family when a female driver drove up on the sidewalk, hitting the toddler. Officials say family members took Aura to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead Friday night. And as we work to find out more, I went to the Allen Homes neighborhood and spoke with people who live nearby. They told me that kids are typically out playing in the area.
I just say, oh my God, it's so sad that one of our babies got killed out here like that. I watch over kids, and we as a community, I feel like should get together and pay more attention to those kids and the babies when they're out here in the street.
An autopsy is scheduled, and the name of the driver hasn't been released to us yet. But the sheriff's office says charges are pending and an investigation is still ongoing. We'll update you when we find out more.
So heartbreaking. Thank you, Audrey, for staying on top of this. Investigators, working this case as we speak. Of course, we'll update you on air and online as we learn more.
And live at 5 here, we're still following a school bus crash on Drag Strip Road in Aiken County. This happened sometime at around 3 o'clock. We received word of that at around 3:50. Now we're live near the scene at the intersection of Atomic Road here with you. You can see a Beach Island fire truck blocking the road here. This is about all we can see there on the scene so far.
Yeah, the actual accident is out of sight right now. Only parents of the children are being allowed past that truck to pick up their children. We do know the bus driver was hospitalized, but we're also told no students have any obvious injuries. We are working to confirm what caused the crash and what school bus this was, what number, what school, what route it was following. Of course, stick with us as we learn more.
Switching gears to weather now, let's toss things over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill. Riley,
At 5, some Georgia lawmakers say a database of kids who could be dangerous could help prevent school shootings.
But some parents think that net would be too broad and snare students who are not a real threat. Your Georgia State House reporter Abby Kasoris explains.
This would have been prevented, my granddaughters would still have their dad here.
Sean and Kevin Zink at a state capitol hearing in honor of their son-in-law, Richard Aspinwall, one of 2 teachers and 2 students killed at Appalachia High School, a 14-year-old student accused of killing them.
Part of what went wrong was a lack of sharing of information from the top down.
They're advocating for House Bill 268. It would create the school and student safety database, building a list of students deemed a threat, managed by law enforcement. In the days following the shooting, we learned police were called to investigate the teen the year before. When he transferred, the school was not notified.
For hopefully the intervention into these kids' lives, they obviously need help.
Lawmakers looking to see if a bill meant to keep students safe could cause them harm.
Kids make mistakes and then they learn better, right? That's part of growing up.
Megan Gordon with the Council of American Islamic Relations says language barriers could allow for people to target minorities.
Labeled a threat forever.
The Georgia Emergency Management Agency testified no profiling, no mass surveillance. The system would only keep data for roughly 1% of students.
I understand wanting to protect your child's privacy.
Cost of lives.
I think protecting their lives is more important.
All right, a small town band learning they'll perform in front of thousands later this year. Still ahead, how they landed a gig at one of South Carolina's biggest music festivals.
One golfer on the AU women's team is seeing the game differently. Coming up in sports, we'll tell you the remarkable story of the adversity she's facing on the course.
And we are still keeping an eye on a few showers on the radar network for this evening, but heading over the next couple of days, we're drying things out and bringing back that fire risk. More on the forecast just after the break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
This is not you.
Something wash out, but keep it here for those updates throughout the week.
All right, thanks, Riley. A great story of resilience and determination over at AU. One women's golfer playing for the Jags at the D1 level. She's blind in one eye. Your sports director, Alyssa Lyons, has more on her story. Alyssa.
Yeah, playing the sport of golf is already hard enough as is for Jags junior golfer Maureen Legentile. It's not only harder, but with one good eye. Born across the pond in France, Legentile says she was born blind in her left eye, but was also born into a family of golfers. At first, she says she didn't enjoy the sport because she would constantly miss the ball while swinging, but that didn't stop her from trying further and chasing a dream. She started her collegiate career at Columbus State before transferring to AU, and she said that she still struggles with some aspects of the game, but it really doesn't change her attitude.
I kind of struggle with depth perception, which can be a little tricky sometimes. Or, for example, something I always laugh at with my teammates and my coach is like, if I'm even 20 yards from the green, I'll pull out my rangefinder because I literally cannot tell how far it is.
How awesome is that? Legentile and AU will be back in action this Friday at More Than Golf Invitational over in Aiken, and we'll be covering that all weekend long.
What a great story over at AU. That's incredible. She's able to do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, my depth perception is fine, and I can't play golf very well.
Yeah, mine's a little off when I play golf, too.
A
good story over at AU. Thanks, Alyssa. Well, the Coastal Carolina Music Festival is one of the largest music gatherings in South Carolina. Each year in June, more than 35,000 people come out for a weekend of country music in Myrtle Beach.
And last night, a South Carolina band just learned they'll be performing on the big stage. Stephen Schlink has that story.
Live music and dancing is not an uncommon sight on the weekends in North Myrtle Beach, but Sunday night was different for Grand Strand's own King Tide.
And King Tide are on the stage, Carolina Country Music Festival.
William King is the lead singer for the band and says he was shocked.
That's just unreal. Unreal. Unreal.
He says he started playing music professionally several years ago, and his dream has been to hit the CCMF stage.
I've been waiting 7 years. I've been playing the outskirts of it for 7 years.
As for the fans,
I would say well deserved.
And it was those fans that nominated King Tide to play at CCMF this year. It's part of an effort by CCMF organizers to make sure that fans have a say.
It matters to us that we are involved in the community and that the community is involved with us, so we want to be able to have the community have a voice.
As King took in the moment, he has this message for his fans who support he and his band.
Thank y'all very much. I love you very much. Oh, are you kidding me? I can't believe this.
You'll be able to see King Tide hit the CCMF stage during the 10-year anniversary from June 5th through June 8th. King has this advice for everyone who has a dream.
Don't stop. Never stop. Never stop. You gotta say.
And good for them. Coastal Carolina's Music Festival says their tickets are nearly sold out, but there are still some general admission tickets up for grabs. That festival is from the 5th through the 8th of June, and of course, good luck to King Tide.
Be careful what you click on. Hackers have stolen billions of usernames and passwords and installed malware on computers simply because someone Googled something and clicked on a website. I'm JB Tucker. What you need to know coming up.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
All right, if you just take a lawyers was the correct call for me.
In the wake of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse last year, Georgia officials are taking a closer look at our bridges to make sure another tragedy does not strike. A new report from the NTSB makes recommendations to update 68 bridges, including Savannah's Talmadge Bridge, which routinely sees cargo ships go underneath it. The Talmadge Bridge is different than the Key Bridge in a very important way here. The Talmadge Bridge support piers are on the banks of the Savannah River, not in the water like the Key Bridge. Right now, GDOT is considering whether to raise the Talmadge Bridge for bigger cargo ships in the future or make a tunnel underneath the Savannah River.
With warmer weather on the way, South Carolina advocates are raising awareness for Lyme disease. It is spread by tick bites, which which of course are more common in the warmer months when you spend more time outdoors and of course in wooded areas. Since the symptoms of Lyme disease vary, it is commonly underdiagnosed or even misdiagnosed. Those with the illness say they must band together to raise awareness and offer support.
And I tell everybody, I have such good bad news for you, right? Because the good news is I know what's wrong with you and you're validated. You're seen, you're heard, your symptoms are real, your concerns are legit. The bad news is Lyme disease. The good news is we've got treatment options for it, but it's a lifelong disease.
Ticks are most active starting in March, according to the State Department of Public Health. You should thoroughly check yourself and your pets for ticks after spending time outdoors, especially because many bites go undetected. You need to see your doctor if a tick bite develops a bullseye rash at the site, or if you have joint pain or fever and flu-like symptoms.
Well, live at 5, a consumer alert for you and your personal information. Hackers have stolen billions of usernames and passwords, and you should be careful what you've searched for.
Right, your consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker explains what to watch for and what not to search for.
Most of us know never click on a suspicious link in an email, but now hackers are using websites to install malware on millions of computers. You Google the wrong thing, click on a website, you're a victim. InfoStealer installs malware the traditional ways, but it's especially good at using websites. Google and Bing searches for things like PDF converters, free downloads, game cheats reportedly return infected websites. Some even appear at the top of the search results as sponsored ads. There's even a name for this: malvertising. If a user clicks on the website, InfoStealer installs malware that can steal credentials, financial information, anything else on the computer. And in seconds, it runs silently so that users never suspect anything is going on. Downloads of free software are especially risky. A few websites offer free or deeply discounted software for games and utilities. Avoid these websites and any free software downloads. Though the malware runs in the background, you could notice the computer running slower, installing extensions, or logging you out of programs and sites. If anything like this happens, unplug the computer from the internet and run an updated virus program. Visit haveibeenpwned.com. Enter your passwords. If any show up as being included in a data breach, change them immediately. And it is critical to keep browsers, computers, and software programs updated. If you see there is a new security update on anything you use, install it immediately. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Malware threats are growing at a fast rate. A recent report by cybersecurity experts found that more than 1 billion malware programs are being used, and businesses are the prime target for hackers. Riley.
Well, we are entering that time of year to where we usually see our last freeze, the end of March towards the beginning of April across our region, and no sign of any freezing temperatures, at least for the next 10 days. Have a look at that 7-day for you again just after the break.
Okay, y'all, take a look at this. Mama's not happy, but there is a baby there. Zoo Atlanta welcomes the newest member of its flock, a tawny frogmouth hatchling. And get this, his name is Pierogi. He hatched in late February to parents Java and Small Fry.
Those are great names. Pierogi is part of the AZA Species Survival Plan, which is focused on conservation efforts. Tawny frogmouths are native to Australia and are often mistaken for owls. They can live up to 20 years in captivity and only weigh about a pound fully grown. They're a bunch of floofs, is what we're calling them.
Little floof.
Do you think they eat frogs being called frogmouths?
Do you know the answer to that?
They actually don't
eat
frogs.
Interesting, but they do have a big old mouth, and that is a cute little bird right there. Love that smile of Mom. I think they're happy.
You think Mom's happy there?
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree.
That was a smile right there.
Okay.
Good looking little bird. All right, another reason to go visit Zoo Atlanta for sure. A beautiful look over Clarksville Lake. We are tracking one tiny little downpour that's near Lincolnton, about to cross over the lake. Temperatures across the region, mid-60s. It's not super cold, but not necessarily super warm either, especially with this cloud cover out there. Here's a look at that little batch of rain. Tough to even see on the radar network. So this is crossing over the lake on 378 and now moving into McCormick County. The rest of us, cloudy, mild, fairly dry, but just can't rule out maybe a spotty shower or two as we continue over the next couple of hours. Temperature-wise, we are going to stay most likely in the 60s through at least around 10 o'clock, and then overnight tonight, we're going to be falling off into the 40s. So a little bit of a chill out there early Tuesday, but well above freezing. No freezing temperatures or nowhere close to freezing over the next 7 days. Those afternoons are going to be beautiful. Lots of sun through Thursday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The weather. It's something that affects us all every day. From sunny to severe and anything in between. This is why we First Alert.
Are you tired of your predators